welcome back to the channel. My name is Carrie with bluescitypickin, and if you are new here, I am a part-time reseller that goes around to estate sales, thrift stores, sometimes yard sales, online auctions to find things to flip for a profit on eBay and only eBay. I am a single platform seller because I do this part-time. This is another What's Sold. This is Ching number 62. This is for September 1st through the 3rd. We had some really slow days before this, so I'm very happy with the outcome for these 3 days where I sold 24 items. My gross sales was about $740, and when I say gross, that includes shipping and taxes. The price I agreed to pay upon with the buyer was $576.37. And my purchase price for these items was $149.36. What you will see is there were a couple pieces that I spent more on that I lost some money on this week for various reasons, and I'll explain that in the video. But even with losing money on 2 higher priced items, I still made almost $300 in these 3 days, which is amazing, like super awesome. And a 51.7% margin, which is also really great. I had something that sold as fast as 3 days, something that took 367 days to sell, and then the average was 125 for these 24 items. 19 of them were bread and butter, and then 5 of them had profits above $15. My average profit for this week was $12.42. So not so bad, since I had 2 items that I lost almost $12 on each. That are super duper schmooper, bringing down the average. Let me do the average if I exclude those 2 items. If I do the average excluding those 2 items, I'm right in range of where I want to be, which is $14.60. So super duper happy with that. I think I'm about to do my giveaway for 1,000 subs. So if you have not done so already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe if you like reseller content. I post 3 videos a week, a combination of what sells and hauls. I used to do more shop with me's, and I may get back into that at some point, but the time is just not permitting me to do that right now. Life gets in the way of all the fun things, but I do enjoy these What Sold videos. I'm pretty darn transparent with them. I tell you every number about it. I'm a numbers gal. I work in finance, planning and analysis and that kind of stuff, and these are the cool things to me, is to break down each item, what I paid for it, what I sold it for, and how long I had it, so that you can know whether you should pick that up or you should pass on it. And some of that will depend on your own inventory space. So without further ado, let's go into one of my better flips of the week. This is a vintage Joan River spring season pink cherry blossom flower bee brooch. Hear all those keywords. I picked this up for $12.23 at an online auction at the end of August. It sold for $66. And so I made $40.77 in just 6 days. I picked up several pairs of St. John earrings and a couple of these Joan Rivers brooches at that online auction, and I've already sold a couple of them, so I'm pretty happy about that. Next up is a Coach logo print nylon crossbody bag. I actually found this at the bins back in May. I think this was that banger day that I had at the bins where I found all kinds of great stuff. Paid $1 for it. Got an offer for $14, and so I made $10.42 in just 100 days. Next item is a vintage set of 4 placemats from Target. These were Halloween placemats. I picked these up at a yard sale last November. I think I must not have included them in my cost of goods because I have 0 in here. I got an offer for $6.76, which I just went ahead and accepted, and so I made $4.51 after 284 days. Next up is the first thing that I lost $11.55 on this week. This was a 4-piece Disney Mickey Mouse desk collection. It had a tape holder, a cup, a notepad, and a goofy stapler. Paid $50 for this at a local like antique mall with the intent of using it myself in my office, but then I didn't really care for it and the aesthetic wasn't what I wanted. So I went ahead and listed it. I got an offer for $55. It's been listed quite some time, so I just went ahead and accepted that, and I lost $11.55 after 264 days. Next is my best sale of the week. This was from cleaning out my kids' toys. This was a huge lot of Disney new emos and clothing and accessories, including a little Loungefly and a Spirit jersey. I had nothing into this because we've had this stuff for quite some time. I went high and I listed it at $99, which it sold for the full asking price of $99. And so I made $82.90 in just 3 days. So if you're looking for a place to start selling, look in your own house. You don't need to go out thrifting and sourcing. That's how I started years ago on the side, was just using eBay as a way to recoup some of my investment on some higher dollar collectibles that I had invested in. So you don't need to go out and spend a lot of time thrifting or sourcing. Just look through your own house and find some stuff to sell and try it out before you invest time if you're looking to get started. Next up is a cabbie dress. This one I picked up because it was a nautical theme. It had like rope and stuff on it. I thought it was super cute. It was a size small, which made me nervous, but I got it for $3.50 at a local Goodwill. It sold for $19, and so I made $12.80 after 35 days. Next up is a Little People. This is a vintage 1968 fire truck. It did work. When you pulled it, it made the bell sound, etc. I had $2 into this from a large Little People buyout back in May. It sold for $9.95, and so I made $5 even after 83 days. Next item, another bins pickup. This was an 11-piece International Silver Company nativity set. It was silver tone, and I found this at the bins back in April. I had gotten a couple lowball offers on this item, like the day before this sold, and I'm like, no, I won't make what I want to make on it, even picking it up at the bins. So I waited it out and I got a full price sale of $19. So I made $12.07 after 143 days. Next item is the longest tail in the sales this week. This was an Oric vacuum head attachment. I had $1 into this from a local thrift store where I had bought a box with the Oric vacuum and a whole bunch of attachments last August. It sold for $12, and so I made $7 after 367 days. I've kind of quit picking up like small appliances and things and parting them out. It has to be something pretty special at this point for me to do that, or for me to even look at it. I know I'm not like optimizing my money, but I just haven't had a lot of luck with those being fast movers. I still have a tub in my inventory of small appliance parts that I'm trying to sell, and one sells every couple months, but I've had them for a long time. So not something I would recommend parting out unless I hear Ninja blenders do really well. I had a lot of luck with quick sales on the Bosch mixer that I picked up. So there are some things I think that kind of buck the rule for there, but by and large, I don't pick up small appliances anymore. Next up is another item out of my personal stash. This was a Disney 50th anniversary iridescent Loungefly backpack. I actually used this quite a bit. I had nothing into it because I've used it a bunch. I had an offer for $35 and I just went ahead and accepted that. And so I made $29.78 after just 20 days listed. The reason I did that is they're about to get into another set of anniversary gear, and then things become more difficult to sell from the prior round. Next up is a set of Kurt Adler felt Christmas ornaments. This is 4 different ones. They were super cute. I actually picked these up at an estate sale back in March where I found a bag full of vintage ornaments. So I only have like $1 into each lot that I have up there. They sold for $15.16, probably sent out an offer is what I'm thinking. And so I made $10.27 after 157 days, and they were not big, so they didn't take up a whole lot of space. Next item is some new old stock Atari parts. These were part number blah, 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 blah. I didn't know. I had 50 cents into these from a Whatnot auction back in December of last year. I have more than made my money back off of that auction buy. I still have quite a few Atari parts, but they're selling kind of slowly but surely. These sold for $6.50, so I made $3.69 after 264 days. Next is a bins pickup, a recent one where I went down to the Hernando bins, which is about 45 minutes away from my house and definitely longer in mileage, but I had some nice pickups that day, so I've thought about going back. The time just has to be there for me to do it. So this was a Hobo. If you're not familiar with the Hobo brand, Hobo is a very nice brand of leather accessories and purses. This was the Alice Compact Wallet, blue pink snakeskin kiss lock card holder. The inside was in really, really nice condition. There was definitely some wear on the outside, so I priced it accordingly. It sold for $20. I had $1 into it, so I made $14.13 after 8 days. Next item, something I didn't get as much as I would have liked out of, but if you find these for less expensive, I would still pick them up. These are a set of 3 brass and lucite candle holders. I did pay $12.17 at the regular Goodwill back in April because they were all individually priced. I just couldn't leave them. They were so cool. They sold for $27, so I made $8.76 after 128 days. Because I have like recycled boxes and stuff like that, I don't lose money on shipping and shipping supplies and stuff like that. But if you find these, I'd recommend picking them up even if they're a little bit more expensive. Hang on, I gotta adjust my camera. I just realized that y'all are like just staring. I looked like the home improvement guy over the fence. What's his name? Wilson? Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, so that was cool. $8.76. I'm good with that, and they've gone on to find a new home. Next up is a hand painted gourd. It was a shaker. I bought this at a church sale back in March for $1. It sold for $9, and so I made $7.20 after 158 days. Next is the other delightful large loss this week. This is a Logitech keyboard with the mouse and dongle. It had been tested. I paid $45 for this at an estate sale back in February. Be smarter than me. It looked new. It had plastic on it like it was new. And I did not inspect it enough when I purchased it. I got them home and 2 out of the 3 were used and dirty. And then the third one wasn't even the right keyboard. So I messed up big on this. I will always tell y'all that being a reseller isn't all sunshine and lollipops. We are human, we are fallible, we make mistakes. This is one of my mistakes. And I sat on listing it for a long time because I was mad. I was irritated, so I just left it in my death pile because I didn't want to clean it. But finally, back in July, I cleaned the keyboard, tested it, got it listed, and one of them sold almost immediately, and I basically broke even. I accepted a $45 offer on this one, and so I lost $11.68 after 45 days listed, but I didn't lose as much if I had just sold it at a garage sale or something like that. So don't give up if you mess up. still try to recoup as much of your money as possible and just move on. I was over this after I listed it. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll get what I can back. And I know I'm fortunate because I do this part-time. Like, it's not the end of the world if I make mistakes. So just make sure that when you're at an estate sale, don't make the assumption that I did, that it was new, sealed. Yeah, it was not. So it is what it is. Next up is a Eileen Fisher sweater. This was an extra large V-neck Italian yarn sweater. It was itchy to me, but you know, whatever. I paid $3.50 for this at a Goodwill back in July. I think it was 50% off that day. It sold for $25, and so I made $17.90 after 9 days, which I'm super happy with. Next up, I'm kind of mad this sold because I had just picked up some more pieces and I was going to make a bigger lot. This is a lot of Little People from Fisher-Price. I usually pick them up even as onesie twosies because I just make a big lot and sell them. This was the second lot I had going. There were 9 in here. They sold for $8. I had 76 cents into this, and so I made $2.83 after 129 days. I think I didn't estimate the shipping properly on this one, and I lost about $1 or so on the shipping. It happens. Next up is a Red Rock Outback hat, size large from Australia. Had $1 into this from the Goodwill back in May at the bins. It sold for $16, so I made $11.57 after 106 days. Next is a Lego Duplo set. This was some Duplo Explorer set. It was new. All of the Lego were still in the box, bags, etc. I had $6.32 into this from a regular Goodwill back in April. It sold for $26, and so I made $15.36 after 129 days. Next up is a lot of 10 VHS tapes. I picked this up at the bins as well back in May for $1. It sold for $17, and so I made $10.38 after 105 days. This is one of those times where the fact that my bins doesn't charge everything by weight works out, right? So those tapes, if they had been charged by weight, they would have been cost prohibitive for me to pick up. But because they charge by the item and they charged me $1 for them, I was able to go ahead and pick them up. So I know there's certain times with the by weight that it works out for me, and then there's certain times that it doesn't work out in my favor. But by and large, I'm pretty pleased with how our bins does their pricing across the board. So super happy with that. And $10.38 after 105 days, cannot complain. Next is another bins pickup. This was a Cookie Monster plush from Sesame Street. This was a Gund branded one from 2002, so a little bit older. Had $1 into it from the bins in early July. Sold for $9, and so I made $5.28 after 50 days. Next is another bins pickup. This is Terra & Co. charcoal toothpaste. I picked this up with in a bag with some other toothpaste that I made good money on, called like Super Smile. I don't know, they sold for like $14 to $15 a tube, but that was way cheaper than I guess they are available online. So yes, please. I've had 53 cents into this back from the bins in May. It looks like it's the same day I picked up that Red Rock hat and the Coach crossbody. So I just find that interesting that happens sometimes. It sold for $7, so I made $4.32 in 89 days. And then last but not least, these are Elgin Sears butterfly ornamental hinges, new old stock. Had $2.92 into this set. They sold for $10, and so I made $4.27 after 322 days, and I picked those up at an estate sale. Let's see, 42% of my profits came from Goodwill, 38% from home clean out from the Disney items, 10% from the auction, 6% from yard sale, and then, you know, mishmash of other. Clothes came in clutch, including accessories and shoes this week for 100, or those 3 days, $137.37. Had 15% from kitchen and decor and household goods, and then toys brought in 39%. And so I'm super happy with those 3 days. I've had a pretty good run since then. So I'm filming this on the 6th of September. I had a great, let's see, trying to remember my days. I'm not very smart sometimes, guys. So Thursday was good. This is Saturday. Friday was not good. I only sold one thing on Friday. And then today has been better. So I think I've sold 7 things today. All bread and butter, nothing super high dollar. Thursday I had a couple higher dollar items. But yeah, it's been mostly, and I don't mind bread and butter, right? Like, you see here, like there's a lot of bread. I had 19 bread and butter items that sold that added up to not an immaterial amount of profit. So super, super happy with my results of this week. And if you like it, once again, I'd really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for coming back, and we'll see you in the next one.